Hey guys, happy Wednesday, happy early Thanksgiving. Valerie Hunt, RunRX, here with Ask Me Anything. So this week I love this question. It kind of comes right in with the holidays. And the reason I say that is because, everybody's shopping for things, right? Black Friday specials and whatnot. And I don't know if anyone's ever thought, well, maybe I'll invest in myself and get a coach. So the question somebody had was, why should I hire a running coach? And this is really fun because when I first started running, even though I myself coach, I was the same as everybody else, like just go out and run, right? So then here's the challenge. Anything else you're gonna do, you have someone teach you the foundation or the fundamentals, right? So like you teach your kid how to ride a bike, you teach your kid to swim, you yourself, if you played any sports, there's endless amounts of skills for all the sports. But for whatever reason with running, it's always just been, go run. Or a punishment. You're talking, go run. I got a few of those when I was growing up. So, and this was a really fun, how do I say it? Backhanded, compliment. So someone said, I just want you to know, I listen to everything you say. I've never paid you any money. And I just wonder, am I doing it right? So this is kind of where it came from. And I said, yeah. And you notice, just so you know, the joy in my life is that you get out of what I tell you something to change in your run. So if you haven't already, totally free, I'm not selling you anything, but take the free quiz on the RunRX site. And especially if you have I wonder if I'm, I keep getting this twinge in my run. Maybe it's a shin or a plantar or a hip or whatever reason, but something in your run is just not right where you want it to be. You take the quiz and you get back some great responses, and I give you a skill strength and self-care to help you put it into your run. Because here's what I learned over the years, right? If someone came back from their running and said to me, hey Valerie, I did that run. Because when we think of getting a run coach, and when I first started coaching, by the way, I started, if you don't already know me, I've been around a long time, but I started my fitness career in 1990, teaching group fitness at Gold's Gym. And then I went into personal training. So I literally had been in a weight room kind of my whole life, that's the way I see it. I started lifting when I was in high school, so 1985. Cardio for me in the 80s was literally like the Stairmaster, right? So when I started teaching group fitness and I started getting into more involvement with exercise when I got to college, a kinesiology major, then I started running outside, and wow, it was so hard. It was and then my clients all of a sudden were getting injuries that we didn't have in the weight room, we didn't have in the fitness class. And I thought, well, what's the main difference? Hey, Jenny, happy Thanksgiving. So what I found was when we were working out together, by the way, Jenny, who's watching right now, she has known me for over 20 something years, and she started with me with group fitness, watched me go into the pose, and what we realized, and she knows because she's a teacher, we were being watched even in your group fitness class. If you've got a personal trainer, they're showing you how to do the exercise correctly, and then what? They make sure you're doing it correctly. So then if you're doing something incorrectly, it's so easy as a coach to be like, hey, correct this right here. Say you were trying to do a squat, you kept bending over, and I could just help you feel, okay, try to hold yourself upright. I take you through the movement, and then you can repeat the movement again. And if I see you're doing it right, I can say, oh, good job, or I can cue you to correct, right? That's the joy of coaching, is for us to help you not just reach your fitness goals, but to do it correctly. So movement is so important, whatever the movement is. And then we're running. Who wants to go for a run? And then if you get a training plan, it's Monday run 3 miles, and Wednesday run 5 miles, and maybe on Friday go do some hills, and then Sunday's your long run. But nowhere does it say, how? So then if something doesn't feel right in our run, we're so quick to be let me just stretch it. And you think about it, when you're running, you want to be moving, right? I want to get my feet off the ground. What keeps me injury-free, guys, and I'm injury-free still, 20-something years later for run coaching, is getting your foot off the ground a little quicker. And there's two ways that that happens. Number one is using your own muscle tendon elasticity, which you develop with the skill drills. And the second is to learn how to use your body weight. And this is the secret. And it's not a secret, it's for everybody, but we forget this. It's how do I take my body and fall forward? Because running itself, if I just stand here, I'm not going anywhere. I can move my legs, I can pump my arms, but I'm not going anywhere. How do I go? Well, you go by letting yourself fall. And then your feet follow you. That's the best part of running. When you actually pull your foot from the ground, it's only 2% of your body weight. So when you run, your feet should be free, weightless. Really nice feeling on your pulls. The challenge in running, honestly, is holding this, holding your upper body forward, and it's understanding that you've got to let gravity do the majority of the work, right? And here's the beautiful part. You can learn the running pose. You can practice the running pose itself. It's the figure 4, right? Falling is really something you develop awareness of, but first, I have on my RunRX reboot on the YouTube channel, we've got the 30-day reboot. It has all of these skill drills, right? So I can practice my falling. Pulling is the only action. There's only 3 elements: pose, fall, pull. That's it. So really, you only have to practice 3 things, right? Here's the trick, though. 1 mile is around 1,500 steps. So if I want to run 1 mile, I got to make sure that the step is correct, right? And for most people, if I ask them, what's your running action? What's your intent and movement in your run? You know, even if it was like, if it's another movement, let's say we were going to do, I don't know, let's go back to our squat. You could probably say to me, if I never met you before, and I said, hey, would you just show me how to do a squat? Well, we all know that it's kind of sitting down, so you'd even say to me, well, pretend there's a chair behind you, and find the chair, and then once you feel the chair, then use your glute muscles to stand up. Try to hold your ears, shoulders, and hips. So you're giving me the feeling, you're giving me the muscles to use, you're giving me a sensation, so then I can say, okay, so I'm going to sit back with my hips, and then squeeze my glutes to come up. And you'd say, yeah, that looks pretty good. You see what I mean? Good communication about movement. Versus if I kept doing this, and they would say, well, if the chair was way up here, you see what I mean? So with running, you come back from your running, you're like, hey, Valerie, it hurts right here. Right here it hurts. And you're like, what do I do? What stretch do you have? Should I roll it? I love rolling, by the way, so I'll talk about that in a minute. Should I roll it? Should I stretch it? What should I do? My first answer is, let me see your run. And this is where the coaching comes in, guys. So when someone comes into RunRX, the first thing that they do is send me a gait analysis. Well, I do the analysis. They send me their run. And it's literally just running back and forth in front of a camera. You don't even need someone to hold it. Set it up yourself. So I can see your movement and your movement patterns. Then you start working on your practice to just make your running more efficient. That's the beautiful part. Everyone runs through the running pose. Everyone. Everyone uses gravity or there wouldn't be any movement. And everyone's foot at some point comes off the ground. So you're already doing those 3 elements, you just didn't know it. And think about how much easier it is for someone to just see you and correct you. Because in the RunRX membership, for example, I do live Zooms, right? So they're very big group of people, by the way, really fun. Usually the Zooms are pretty small, but if I can see you, and let's say you think you're pulling, right? This is pulling, using the hamstring. But I look over, or I look at you, and you're doing this. Who's going to correct you? If you think, in your mind, I'm pulling, but you're actually using your hip, then when you go to run, guess what? You're going to run with your hips. So please, if nothing else, I tell you this. Well, so one is, obviously, I'd love for you to come into the membership. But first, think about, if you're like, not really into that, then do the reboot. And when you do the practice, take that time to think about the movement, and does it feel like what she says? Can I feel what I'm trying to do? Same thing with the quiz. What I like to do, the reason we started that is because so many people don't realize they're reaching or pushing, right? And here's the best part. I will never say to you, don't do this. I will say to you, do this instead. Have a to-do. So for most people, it's going to be really reintroducing themselves to their hamstring. 99.9% of endurance runners run with their hip and hip flexors, which is why we see so much T-band, outer hip, shin splints, outer foot, all of that, all of those injuries. Isn't that amazing? It comes because you're letting the hip bring your leg forward instead of the hamstring. And your hamstring is like meant to run. That's your running muscle. So just keep in mind that as you practice, you'll get educated on yourself and on what running actually is. And it really is fun. The membership itself is like 12 weeks long. Why is it so long? Because to gain perception and really make a change in a movement takes practice and consistent. And what happens is like the skill drills become part of your warm-up, and every time you run, you gain a deeper connection with falling and with running itself, and being able to reach out to me and ask, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be pain. It could be, hey, I felt this today, or hey, this happened. And what's fun is that as it becomes your running, if you will, then it just becomes how you run naturally. Because once you feel falling, once you understand pulling, it's running. So it's just that beginning part of making sure we're practicing correctly. So I wanted to do this today for you guys. And like I said, if you haven't taken the quiz, get on the site, take the quiz. It's just kind of fun to start thinking about your movement in a little bit of a different way, right? Okay, so I wanted to get today, since it's the Thanksgiving and about to get started, and some of you guys might be traveling for the holiday, so then you're like, oh my gosh, I can't get out to run. And then this is when I say, well, you know what, you can at least stay in to practice. How's that? So this will be fun for everybody. So I'm just gonna give you the basic, one little fun drill to practice for the holidays. So if you stand up for me, bend your knees slightly, wiggle your toes, and put the body weight in the ball of the foot for me. So my knees are bent, relaxed everywhere else. I want you to take your foot and pull it. And what does that even mean, right? It means it's like if I had a string on my ankle, you see how I'm pulling my foot? It's because I want you to make sure that no body weight goes into the ground. We simply pull using our hamstring. Okay, so now we're in that running pose. So all I want you to do now is take the foot that's on the ground and pull it. So there'll be a little bit now of like a slight hop, right? Because I'm in place. So I want you to shrug with your shoulders. So this knee is bent, so watch. And then you land right in that same pose. Because always we're pulling to the pose, right? So pull, pull, pull. See? So that's 3 pulls. Now we're gonna do the same 3 pulls, but I'm gonna add a fall. So I'm here in my pose. Remember, you fall as a whole unit. Your body falls, then you pull the foot. So ready, here we go. Fall, up, up, up. And then you're back in your pose. I'm gonna turn around, do the same thing again. Remember, we fall, lead from the center, fall, up, up, up. See? The practices are very simple. It's more to feel and develop. But if I was home and I can't get out and I want to get a little bit of movement, then go forward and back, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm just getting elasticity, strength, right? I wouldn't do this for 30 minutes, but you can definitely at least practice the sensation of running in place. That's really the best part. So I would love to see you take the quiz. Keep questions coming. I love to geek out on the running. Have a happy Thanksgiving. If you do try this, let me know. It's fun to know feedback-wise. Like I said from the guy that said to me, I've been listening and practicing, but he said, but really I realize I don't even know if I'm doing it right. I think I'm doing it right, but I'm not sure. How can I really make sure? Well, let me see you. Then you'll know for sure. And I'll only help you improve. All right, guys, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, good. I'm glad you like it. And I really, like I said, this is me. People that know me know me. It's like I can get talking and going. And what's amazing, like I said, like keeping it simple, pose, fall, pull. And when you go out, just recognize like you have unlimited potential in the falling. And once you realize that and start to connect with it, take your watch off, take your earphones off, and just start to connect. Running becomes just, it's a real joy. And that's why I keep doing this, because I still love to run and I still love to teach running. So happy Thanksgiving. And if you have questions, you can email them to us on the website, runrx.fit. You can comment under here, of course, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.